This video is to review for 11.2. One thing you might have to do is to distribute an outside term to each term inside of the parentheses, but it might involve variables and coefficients. So the way you do this is you multiply number times number, so 5 times 7 is 35, and then you put the x after. For the next part, we take 5 times 3 is 15, and keep in mind that this is like x to the first. So when I combine these, it's like saying x to the first times x to the third, which becomes x to the fourth, because you just add the exponents. One more example, if I was to distribute this x to the fifth, this would become x to the eighth minus 2x to the fifth. Also in this section, we multiply binomials. So we use the box method. We draw a box that is a 2 by 2 grid, and we take our first binomial, x minus 7, we can put it across the top, 3x plus 2 across the side, and when we multiply rows by columns to fill out each of the boxes. So 3x squared, 2x, negative 21x, and negative 14. The last thing we do is we combine like terms, which is always going to be across this diagonal. So our final answer is 3x squared minus 19x minus 14. Let's do another one. We can write out our box, 2x minus 6, 2x minus 8. This becomes 4x squared, negative 16x, negative 12x, and a positive 48. When we combine across the diagonal. So we have 4x squared minus 28x plus 48. If we see something like this, we can use the same technique, and we just put x and 7 across the top and x and 7 across the side and multiply the same way. We also will have one problem with fractions. It might look like this. This was the actual problem on one of the earlier versions. 1/2 x plus 1/3 squared. We still use the box method and set it up like this. When we multiply fractions, you multiply top times top and bottom times bottom. So 1 times 1, 2 times 2, and then you keep the x's separate, x squared. 1 times 1 and 2 times 3, and you keep the x separate. 1 times 1 and 3 times 2, and for the last one, 1 times 1 and 3 times 3 for the bottom. So when we combine like terms, we have 1/4 x squared plus 2 over 6x plus 1 over 9. And it's possible that you could have simplified this 2 over 6 into a lower form of the fraction, 1/3. The final type of problem is one like this, where we create a 2 by 3 box. And it works very similarly. We have our negative 3x and our negative 5, we have our negative x squared, we have our x, we have our negative 5. We still multiply rows by columns, so this turns out to be 3x cubed. This turns out to be 5x squared. This turns out to be negative 3x squared, negative 5x, 15x, and 25. And we still combine like terms on this diagonal, like this. So our final result will be something like 3x cubed plus 2x squared plus 10x plus 25.